afraid I can't let you guys see the messages. Hmm. Good morning. Good morning, Tori. Good morning, big man. Good morning, Svan. I'm doing all right. I need to make sure that I check my calendar, though. 21st. 21st, got it. What are we tomorrow? Thursday the 17th, 21st. Yeah, got it. Because right now we are in the group phase. Hey, Louie. What's up? That's superheroes really are. A content creator can get away with almost anything through and feel bad. So a large part of the yeah, standard. Good to see you too, Louie. Thank you. Good morning, Freddie. How's it going, my dude? Was there any good news that popped recently? Yeah. I don't know the name of German engraver. I didn't know anything about the name. I just needed a name for my WoW rogue, like 15 years ago or whatever. So yeah, I didn't even realize what it was. Semmler, whatever. Didn't really. No, just needed a name, and then it turns out it's a name. It's a big name and all that. So it's a German, a Deutsch name, and then when I tried to create accounts, I couldn't create accounts because Semmler was taken everywhere because it turns out it's a popular German name, and so I was like, well, I guess I can't create accounts anywhere, so I have to go ROF Semmler or other blah blah blah. Mm-mm-mm. Da, 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 da. Man, I cleaned up my Twitter, but it still feels like it's a hardcore doom scroll. That's cool though. Good for them. Too many accounts with retweets enabled. Scroll, 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 scroll. All right, that's enough of that. Fuck off Twitter. Useless piece of shit. Get rid of that. Bring that up. Bring this up. So this shocked me. Sponge, where's Alex? So Dinko and Sponge, I'm guessing. So Alex couldn't cast Katowice. Was there a reason for that? Only clean Twitter is no Twitter. I mean, that's a good point. Yeah, exactly. Where's Machine? What happened to Machine? What really shocked me is that Launders and Scrawny are there. It really just goes to show that ESL and Blast are pretty much on the same team now. But I feel like Blast, usually I wouldn't argue for, usually I wouldn't argue for exclusivity. But I feel like Blast, in order to not just become ESL Light, you have to hold on to Launders and Scrawny and do whatever you can to keep them, because it's the only thing that's keeping you separate from ESL. The only thing you have different from ESL is Launders and Scrawny. So not giving Launders and Scrawny an exclusivity deal to keep them Blast, I feel like is actually a little bit of a mistake on Blast's part. Because everybody else, they're whores, they go around, but Launders and Scrawny's like, we play fine, right? They do, we play fine, fair enough. But for them to do ESL, that's weird. I feel like that's the thing. If I was Blast, I would have opened up the pocketbook a little bit to keep them on board. But then again, maybe that's just that just goes to show what the perspective is of casters, in that there isn't enough brand. There isn't enough brand power to really make it worthwhile to keep casters online. I mean, the reality is that you can't tell the difference who casts a match in terms of viewership. There's no metrics that you can use when it comes to casters to justify paying casters more, because there's no metrics you can use to see a difference in viewership depending on who's casting the game. Live, it's with a heavy heart that I'll be missing my first Katowice since 2015. Really? Visa issues with my travel and the Schengen need to be prioritized. ESL have been super understanding and supportive. I'll be watching from home, but this one hurts. Oh. Interesting. Good morning, Dutch. So he got screwed up on a... wow, and Freya is on desk host as well. Who is Darth Mike? What? Oh, okay. I guess NA dude. Interesting. He's a commentator, but he's on the host role. Okay, so Yanko, Maniac, Black, Assad, Maui. That's sick for Maui. Allen is there too, so they're taking that up. Hey, Crack, thanks. Appreciate that. Amount of Reddit posts as a metric is almost the only thing you can go off of. But then the thing is, Reddit is just a popularity contest. If you start going on that down that route, they eventually turn against you. So there's no pleasing Reddit. Eventually, Reddit turns on you. No matter what you do, Reddit will turn on you. So if you're relying on Reddit as a metric, you're fucked. And speaking from experience, but everybody gets fucked by Reddit at the end of the day. No matter what you do, no matter how popular you are, eventually you become Reddit's enemy, and eventually Reddit get bored with you. It's like a kid throwing away a toy. They're just like, oh, I'm bored with this toy now. What's the next toy? And so if you're using Reddit to justify, I mean, in which case, like, fine, that could be a metric. And so your career as a commentator essentially lasts 2 to 3 years, and then that's it, you're done. Because at that point you won't be getting threads anymore. I mean, just look at how quickly Reddit has changed on me, where I was the hero of the major. Oh my gosh. And now, fuck that guy. The observers, who's observing right now? Rush, really? Rush and Jakey? I mean, these guys have got experience. Rush and Jakey are experienced observers. That would be surprising to me that they fuck things up. Good morning, Clayman. What's up, Porto? Get DJ to ESL, exactly. Sato is back, though. That's interesting. This is the pair that I thought was going to happen all along. So that's really interesting that Blast would not want me to cast with Anders in favor of using Moses with Anders. But then instead of bringing Anders along to ESL, Moses then casts with Sato. It's a very weird dynamic there. Like, why isn't Anders casting Katowice? Why didn't Moses try to get Anders in to cast with him? That's weird. Hugo, Harry, yep. Bonders and Scrawny still shock me. I mean, Moses and Sato, okay. I thought that was going to be the duo there in any case, but and Moses is ESL's boy, so I mean, but Sato ESL bringing Sato back. That's interesting. I mean, you can't be surprised that I'm not casting it. I've pissed off too many people at ESL and DreamHack. Yeah. YNK Maniac. I mean, the analyst is a fucking banging desk. YNK Maniac, Black Assad, Maui, Allen, Professor. I don't know so much about Professor in terms of like how he's been doing. I mean, he's really just got HLTV confirmed, and that's it. So I'm really surprised to see him on the show, but good for him, obviously. But you got some veterans, you got some new guys. Maui's on the desk. That's really sick to see. Really cool to see. And Allen as well. I mean, it is pretty cool that Thorin is out there finding these guys, and then eventually ESL are able to get them on board. But I guess that's only after Flashpoint dies, or maybe that's because Flashpoint is no longer a thing because they acquired Faceit, and so Faceit get to throw down and say, hey, we want these guys involved. Freya, Maui, Allen. I mean, these are Flashpoint people. These are Faceit people, you know? So that's interesting. Oh, Paula is going to be an interviewer. I thought Paula was a host for whatever reason. That was weird. The voice of Counter-Strike is not at the first LAN of the year. Well, yeah. Moses and Sato doesn't work. They are both play-by-play. Moses is play-by-play now? I mean, I thought Moses was color. I thought that was his whole thing, is that he's color. Probably won't be casting at Cologne either, Zenrob. Ooh. You remember Moses for play-by-play? Okay. All right, well, that's enough about the casting lineup. Congratulations to everybody who made it. Justice for D-Man. Oh, that's a brutal one. Yeah. Talk about it getting kicked in the dick over and over again. Poor D-man. Can't really. Yeah. There's nothing really to say. Uh, I mean, it's kind of a Device situation with D-man. I mean, Device got D-manned. D-man gave up his Riot shares before they sold, so gave up a shitload of money in order to stay in Cologne for a girl who then they proceeded to break up. So he gave up shitloads of money and a casting gig in a game where everybody loved him to come and work for ESL and work in a game where turns out everybody hated him. And all this because of a girl who then they proceed to break up. And so he loses out on the share money. He loses out on the casting gig with Riot, only to get fucked up in ESL. And now I don't even know what he's casting. Talk about, this is why you don't make decisions about women, guys. You don't, girlfriends? No, you don't make decisions for girlfriends. No, you make decisions for wives, or you don't make decisions around girls at all. It's one or the other, but you don't make decisions for girlfriends, guys. Just if there's anything you can learn from esports, you don't make decisions for girlfriends. Oh, he did a Valorant. Okay, good for him. For Hawkeye and Wolfie, they're going to cast C-Stream for one day. Is it C-Stream? Or is this just the secondary broadcast? Moses was a coach, not play-by-play. I mean, Moses was an analyst, was a color commentator, and then he went to be a. I mean, Moses has done it all by now, anyways. They casted C-Stream only. Man, that's brutal. So I guess these guys, A and B, there's two streams here, and then C-Stream is Hawkeye and Wolfie. So I'm guessing A and B stream is that's why they have so many commentators, is because they have to have simultaneous A and B streams. Yeah. Copenhagen Flames. Well, isn't that a pleasure? That sucks for 16-3. Goodness gracious. 16-12. 16-12 on Mirage is more competitive. Nip have been picking into it. But 16-3 on Nuke. Dude. And Copenhagen Flames taking Fnatic out as well. Best of one, fair enough. But, man. FaZe Clan 2-1 over Miles. I saw that. JKS stepping up. Good for him. Although it's like all of my interest. I still wanted to watch FaZe, and then they don't have the full roster. So I'm like not even caring about how FaZe do this tournament because it's still a fluke tournament. It still doesn't make sense. Because am I gonna analyze FaZe with JKS? No, I want to analyze the full roster. I want to analyze the full FaZe roster. Thank you. I don't care about JKS being on FaZe. Yeah, JKS actually performed pretty good on Mirage. Yeah, he did a good job there. And yes, if they make it to the playoffs, then Rops will be back by then. 2-17. Whoa, wait, hold on. Oh no, that's Group B. Yeah, they aren't even out of the group phase yet. What is this format? Play-in results, got it. And now we're into group stage next. So group stage starts tomorrow, and then we'll go into playoffs. Man. So they need to make playoffs basically for Rops to be able to play. Oh, Rops can be back during group stage? Ooh, okay. Wait, but that's not 10 days, or has it been 10 days already for Rops? Because if the group stage kicks off tomorrow, group stage kicks off 17th. That's tomorrow. 18, 19. Okay. So 19. Okay. So he could be back on this match. So they need to win against Liquid. which they damn well better. I mean, FaZe should utterly destroy Liquid. Should. And, okay, so they could be back for the second round, upper bracket round 2. Yeah, I don't think Rops is worried too much about the Rona, about the Koof. He'll be all right. Trapped for now due to visa issues. He's spoken to yesterday. Oh, really? Well, I mean, he can't really leave Europe. I mean, he has a visa, but I think that that visa is going to be running out soon, isn't it? Should be running out in a couple months. So he is. I don't want to. He's drop out of the tournament. I don't want to be the reason these guys drop out of the tournament. Well. Interesting. Renew his right until he gets a team. Yeah, no, he's essentially just, that was the major selling point that he had when Complexity started to fall apart and he was on the open market, was that, hey, I have a visa. So you don't need to worry about that, right? Because visas cost money to put into place and yada, yada. There's uncertainty there. But with JKS having a visa, thanks to Complexity, that was a pretty strong selling point to get him onto a team. Only problem is none of the other teams, jumped at the opportunity to get him on board. So he's still kind of just stuck living it out in, I guess he's still in Copenhagen, which, could be worse places now that they've dropped their restrictions. Scandinavia is just like the place to be right now. Because no more restrictions at all. So living the good life. But man, yeah, that's got to really suck for him. I mean, the thing is, JKS, if you think about it, JKS had a bit of a rough time on Complexity. He hasn't really been able to show too much in what feels like a really long time. It feels like a really long time since, like, I guess Extremum, that we've really been able to see him pop off. And even then, even on Extreme, it was like, but he still got some decent results there. But don't know what it doesn't really feel like he's had that like really strong performance where it feels like, oh, everybody has to have JKS on their team. They're all gonna make plays to have JKS on their team. It doesn't really feel like we've had that play from him for quite a while. No, nobody's gonna touch Poison. Not after Complexity. Or PC to play. What? He can't even rent a place or a PC to play. What? That's nuts. Well, he doesn't have a personal number. If he just has a visa, but no job, I think he can't get a personal number in that case. And if you can't get a personal number, you can't exist in Scandinavian society. Everything runs off of the personal number pretty much. Your social security number. So until you can get a social security number, you're pretty much, that's pretty much it. Watch the interview? Okay, let's see.
First of all, Justin, obviously you guys have made it through. You came in kind of like last second to stand in for the team. So obviously this kind of has to feel pretty good, right?
Listen, one thing we can say though, at least he's been hitting the gym. He's got a good he's got some good traps going right now. Neck is looking developed, solid. Okay, we can appreciate what really matters here.
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely struggling on the first map of the second series. And I think the first map back versus Sprout, it was kind of rough just because I haven't played LAN in like 4 months or something like that, 5 months. So I kind of had like those LAN jitters, I guess you could say. And the environment is definitely like a lot different to practice, of course. So it's something that I didn't really think about before I played. I was just kind of brushing it like, I'll just be fine kind of thing. So it did take a little bit to get used to. And after on the first map of the second series, I definitely was getting bullied on my spots on the map. And I definitely was feeling a bit of the pressure, but I'm just thankful that on the second map we brought it back, and then on the third map I actually had a decent performance. So yeah, it does feel really nice.
Now, there was this gag that you did with Chad, and we were even talking about it on the show. I think that you didn't even touch the PC for a while. What were you up to?
Yeah, so I haven't played since around like end of December, maybe mid-December roughly, just because I went on the player break, of course, and I actually wanted to take a holiday, so I went to Spain for a bit and then came back to Denmark. And it's kind of hard for me right now in my situation to get a proper setup, just because since I've been benched, I don't know if I can keep the visa because I need a team to take over the visa. So I can't rent a place and stuff like that. It's kind of risky, you know what I mean? I don't want to sign something and then lose my visa. So it's been hard for me to find a place to play from and stuff like that. And like Copenhagen Flames, for example, were really nice to let me play there for about a month. And then I also played at the Australis facility before this event. So it's kind of just about finding like internet cafes almost just to play from. So, I mean, it's not that bad, but it could be worse. And I haven't played because I wasn't expecting to be called up as a sub. And once all of tier 1 teams and stuff like that got full, I was like, okay, well, I mean, I can't really join any team now. And, you know, I kind of just have to wait for an opportunity, maybe like mid-year or something, next player break. So yeah, that was kind of like my situation and the reason why.
So what do you make of this opportunity, you know, to get to play for FaZe? Do you see it as any sort of kind of like a chance to show off, or how do you take it?
Like in a way, I think it's a kind of a chance to show off, but at the same time, I know I'm definitely not going to be in the best shape of my life, you know what I mean? I think I only have about 45, 50 hours in CS right now, and that's literally over the last 5 days. I've played like 10 hours every day. So it's not really my aim and stuff that's the problem. It's more just like playing together as a team and learning all the new call-outs and stuff on the map as well. And I think Finn's doing a really good job trying to like integrate me into the system that we have right now that we have to play with. And he's making it really easy for me, just like pretty much telling me what to do and stuff and like what I can and can't do. And it definitely does make my life a lot easier. And yeah, I mean, it's not really an opportunity for me to show myself off because I think most people know, like they know me, they know what to expect from me and stuff like that. I kind of just have to get in my best performance, but I think it's more just like an opportunity to play with like the legends of the game, you know what I mean? Like I've never played with any of these guys on the team, and I played against them for so many years, so it's actually really awesome to play with them and see what they're like in game, and just getting to chat with them around like the prac room, the hotel and stuff like that. So yeah, it's more just like a really awesome experience for me to be with them and play.
I'm sure it's kind of like a step-by-step situation, but, you know, do you have any sort of goals set for yourself for this event, you know, how far you'd like to make it with the team?
I mean, not really for myself. I kind of just want to make sure that we make.
You already answered that question, Striker. Come on, man. Pfft. Kerrigan is the dad FaZe needs. He is, yes, he is. He is the dad, man. He's even got the dad bod. Who's wearing a twist? He's wearing a twist jersey. Yeah, he must be. Nobody would willingly wear a Canadian flag if they weren't from Canada, right? You know, like if it wasn't an extremist situation. I guess Twist was the only one who was big enough, or you know, about roughly the same size. So, you know, you do what you gotta do, boys. You do what you gotta do. You got Trudeau, the new dictator, over there having a good time. So definitely do not want to be promoting Canada. Chris J could wear one. What makes you say Chris J would wear a Canadian flag? Get out of here. Chris J's just doing his thing over in the Netherlands right now. I think he's playing some Valorant. He's playing some GTA or something the other day. I don't know. He's just streaming and chilling and doing his thing. No, JKS is a savage. See what I did there? That's the thing. JKS is a savage. So I hope that this is an opportunity for him to get to show that off, and that you know, he gets another solid best of 3 under his belt, because if Rops comes back, if this is Blast. If Rops comes back after this game, so he really gets to show what he's capable of against Team Liquid, and then that's pretty much it. Because I mean, if Rops is back for the upper bracket round 2 against G2, then there you go. Of course he is, Splum. So are Thorn and I. So he's streaming. Yeah, good for him. You're making lasagna, Bob Anders, dude. Spaghetti cake. You know, who knows what the situation was there. Long live Israel. Like, who knows what the situation was with the complexity. I mean, it looked like Config was on the way out. I mean, that team was just cursed. That team was just cursed. I could imagine Lake just being like, we need to just jettison all these players, because whoever the curse is attached to, we need to get rid of, and let's just start fresh, right? And that, I guess that's exactly what they try to do. Furia Kick W. Yeah, Navi should be doing all right. It's a question of who is going to be playing against Navi now. The curse stayed with complexity. I mean, I don't think that's no, it wasn't complexity. That was Excuse me. Rops on FaZe. That was the one where I was like, oh my goodness, they can't catch a break. But then that was FaZe. That wasn't complexity. I still just think complexity. It's just unbelievable the level of poor luck that those guys have gotten. It was a turn based. I'm depressed for the Cole guys. Yeah, exactly, dude. It's just brutal. Ned picks unwatchable. Kerrigan pays homage to his old teammate Nico. Really? Oh, he misses. What? Somebody retires. Okay. The fuck? Need to clean the roster ASAP. I mean, what do you do? Do you stay Swedish? Do you try to go international? Who do you try and build around if you go? I mean, they're completely screwed. There you go, Long. There you go. There you go. What's this? Wait, was that the...
Be good. Rob's good. Be good. God, Dad. What do you got? 1 kill?
All right. Like Nip ran in the wrong direction. Well, I mean, who can blame them? They get device. Why? Who in their right minds would not pick up device if he was on the market and asking to be on your team? Who's going to turn that down? You can't turn that down. I mean, nobody can blame Nip for the situation that they're in now. That's I mean, they tried to stay Swedish. And it was. I mean, it was getting better with Knock, wasn't it? Well, where else were they going to go? I mean, Rez has been on Nip for too long. That's fair. Who was a little underwhelmed by the major announcement. In what sense registered degenerate? Has their best player as Hampus right now. Is there actually? That has never occurred to me to check. Can you search players by region? Or not even by region, by country? No, I don't think that's a thing. Let's say Crims. I don't think you can do that. Don't think so. No, I don't think you could do that. That'd be really cool to see, though, like right off the bat, without having to just go and manually check everywhere. I mean, Heap is. I've watched Heap. He seems really interesting. He's over there on. I mean, he's on Dignitas. He's getting some. He's getting some good work in. Going to be learning quite a bit from Forrest, I imagine. If you have a NIP system, you don't get device really. To be fair, I totally bought into the whole idea of threat, you know, and I guess he's just getting put on the back burner over there because he stepped back into that tactical role, whatever that means. So he's not going to be the coach anymore, right? I mean, there's no Swedish teams. Well, never mind. There's... I mean, they're still top 10 with this. Despite all of these horrible situations, they're still top 10, Nip. It's so weird. It just doesn't feel like we've been getting any of those good results from them at all to justify a top 10 position, and yet here they are. Important but Happy Panda, we can always count on you for important philosophical statements. Okay, lots of sex with many females. I don't think that's the point of Valentine's Day. I think the point of Valentine's Day is to have lots of sex with your female, not many females, Panda. So you might be missing the point of a. What do we got? Why are you memeing St. Thomas? Come on, man. You've lost it, dude. The rest of the teams that qualify from the play-in are going to have to play top 5 teams. Exactly. Well, that's usually, that's how it's supposed to work. Top seeded teams get to the easiest opponents. So that's literally how that's supposed to work. Ask Astralis, are you watching Just Get Nikodos? The thing, like, we talked about that on Pop Flash recently with the Copenhagen Flames situation. I mean, if Copenhagen Flames are actually doing well, they manage to get into the group stage. That's going to be interesting. They get Virtus Pro first round, which is a team that they can actually beat. They could do some damage against. But again, it's a question of how long does this roster want to stay together, because they've repeatedly said that they want to stay together as a 5-man team and get picked up as a roster. So that's interesting. But at what point, Astralis has that effect on people. Astralis has that effect on Danish players, where if Astralis asks the Danish players whether it's a good thing for them or not, we'll usually say yes. Just ask Bubsky. So if Nikodos actually gets a firm offer, does he stay or not? Wide swinging Nikodos to death. I mean, dude, Yakinder on LAN is going to be... He's going to be a handful. That's going to be hard to deal with. Like, a guy... Like, Nico, Yakinder, guys with freakishly good AKs on LAN are just so damn scary. They're so scary. So he is going to be loads of fun to watch. Listen, how can you get past a guy who still uses an A4? Can I ask you that question? How do you expect to go toe-to-toe with a guy who still willingly uses an A4 over the A1? Get on that guy's level. Yakinder or Config? Well, is Config scaring anyone these days? I suppose so. Did he actually finally wake up again? He had a strong first map. He had a very strong first map. Have I gone back to MMA? No, just lots and lots of jiu-jitsu. Lots and lots of jiu-jitsu. Lots and lots of grappling. Maui's claim that Big could be top 5 with this roster? I have trouble believing that. I don't think that Searson performs well. He doesn't perform to the same level on LAN. Look at this. We expect to see, Searson online tops every scoreboard pretty much for Big. Searson on LAN, and he bottom frags on the second map and gets, that's the thing. Like, he just does not hit the same level. He doesn't hit the same way on LAN. And I think that's going to be more of an issue than anything for Big, is that if your players are so wildly inconsistent, you can't build a working model, can you? How do you build a working model in the long term if you can't consistently predict your players' performances? Dude, big man, chill. They're going to be touching a whole lot more than that. At that point, dude. What? When did he say that? When did Yanko say that? Well, okay then. It was mega unreasonable. I mean, that's out there. How much difference is between LAN and online? I mean, it's a different game, completely different game. Arash. That's why we always consider LAN results to be the best results. I mean, that's the peak game is LAN, because you have the pressure of the fans, you have the pressure of being able to hear your opponents, you're not playing on your usual setup. It's all of these variables that make it so much more challenging to play on LAN. And so that's why we always hold LAN results higher than any other results. It's just a completely different game. And so, yeah, online is garbage. LAN is where it's at, and unfortunately we're going to have to make these weird adjustments, because for the past 2 years or something we've had to treat online as if it were LAN. Ugh, gross. I can't believe I just had to say that. So get out of here with that business. Now we're getting back on the LAN. We're going to go back to normal, hopefully, and we can progress. Well, there you go, Counterstruck. We're not going to go back to normal only in some countries. I mean, fair enough, Icon, fair enough. I am extremely fortunate to be living in Sweden. I am extremely fortunate to be living in Sweden, where life has pretty much stayed normal for most of this and has gone back to normal now that they've dropped all restrictions and everything. So we're pretty good here. I know that that's not the case in other countries. We've been keeping tabs on the Rona, on the Koof situation in other countries for a while now. I mean, although, other countries are going to bring their bullshit to me, right? Oh, dude, you're in Germany? Yeah, sorry, dude. Fuck. Austria and Germany, man. Right back to their old ways. You're currently visiting Sweden, and it's so weird seeing no masks. Dude, that's the thing for Tessa. It's been like that the whole time. The only time I've ever had to wear a mask is when I've left Sweden. I have not worn a mask a single time in Sweden. And in fact, in Sweden, that's when you know how you know the weirdos are there. Like if you see somebody willingly wearing masks in Sweden, you know that they consume too much foreign media. Basically. Because everybody else, the masks are the exception here. And so if you see somebody in Sweden wearing a mask, it's like, you need to get off the internet or stop watching CNN or whatever the fuck you're watching. Because, yeah. Yeah, that's awesome, Nightwing. It's good shit. I saw that on Twitter. That's awesome. Netherlands are dropping restrictions. Good for them. I think it's going to be like we may have hit the critical mass where they're going to have to start dropping restrictions, just because. I mean, the only reason that they're dropping restrictions in the States is because of polls. I mean, it's the politicians, really. It's just that's the reason why they had to reverse the restrictions in the UK. There was just too much evidence of the politicians not following their own rules. So I think eventually they just said, well, fuck it, we have to restrict now. We have to reverse course now because there's just way too much evidence out there of us not giving a shit. Had it been any different, I think that UK would still be locked down and it would still be a nightmare over there. But turns out politicians, as is the rule, pretty much are retards, and they can't even follow their own rules. It's all just political theater for them. So hopefully, most countries now that other countries, the pressure will start to build on other countries to just drop their restrictions, and we'll keep moving in that direction. COVID-19 shaming is a slippery slope to avoid. Is a slippery slope? What do you mean? It helps with it. Yeah, no, except that claiming that's a cultural thing that was in Japan, or Japan for the most part, as far as I understand. You never saw that ever anywhere else in the West. So don't try and make that like, oh, so COVID now it helps with other diseases too. It's like, yeah, it does, but we never saw that before, and marginal at best. It really is just like a gesture of like, oh, look, I'm being nice. I'm being an asshole because I'm sick and I'm outside when I'm really sick and showing symptoms. But I'm gonna put this mask on because that'll make you feel better or whatever. Whatever. Ooh. Heated in Sweden, but it was recommended during rush hours. That's right. Rush hour traffic, it was recommended. And then I went on the train and saw like 2 masks. So, good Swedes. Yeah, Thomas, that's really interesting. That's fucking batshit crazy what's going on in Canada. Trudeau's an utter piece of shit. Yeah, Apen. Some people will never recover. Some people will never recover. And I've just accepted that fact. Like, I have neighbors before COVID, awesome. Had them over for barbecues, had them over for dinner, awesome. Really felt like, wow, cool, we're going to get along. We're about the same age, everything is great, we're going to get along. Since COVID, they won't even talk to me. They won't say a word to me. Like, the husband will still, but his wife won't even like make eye contact with me anymore. And it's just like, holy shit, okay. Like, some people really, it scared them. It fucked with their heads. Which is a real shame because it was really nice having nice neighbors and having them over for dinner and all that. But like now, like the wife won't even make eye contact with me anymore. It's fucking weird. And I'm just like, whoa, guys, like nothing's changed. Still the same people. Nothing's changed. And it's like, okay. It really depends. It's like almost random. That's the really interesting thing about it. It's almost random who has no, it's not random. What am I saying? I mean, it feels random sometimes. In some cases, it feels random who got scared and who didn't. But a lot of it must come, I mean, I don't know how much media you consume. Thanks for the resub, Amro. I hope you're doing well down there. You always come to this channel for CS content, and then I get politics. Well, don't worry. The first 45 minutes were CS content, Akabato. And I'm loading the VODs to YouTube now. So if you want the CS content, check YouTube. I mean, I'm gonna take off in a couple minutes, so we're just wrapping down here. But yeah, I'll load the VOD up to YouTube, and you can watch the CS content there if you want. Yeah, I've seen that premium. That's good shit. Your mom sure as hell. Yeah, my mom as well is just petrified, terrified. She thinks it's the Black Plague, and I'm like, okay, not exactly very reasonable. But that was the whole situation, wasn't it? I mean, it just if it weren't for the fact that they were able to politicize Rona, and because of the Trump situation beforehand, right? How they had painted themselves into the corner, painting Trump as some dictator or whatever. So he's literally Hitler. So anything he does is evil. And so even when he does something good, they can't acknowledge it because then they'd be acknowledging, that Hitler did something good, right? So that's how the media works, and it's really fucked. And so the timing of this getting out, and then how it was all handled, it was just like the perfect storm, because you have the TDS people, the Trump derangement syndrome, who just then get to keep flowing along straight into the Rona, into the Koof. And so it was just the perfect flowing storm of just carry that straight on through, and here we are. Absolutely, Joe. Cheers. Of course, Forcer. There's a good rule. It's crazy how often it comes true. In that whatever the left accuses the right of doing, odds are that's what they're guilty of. And it's a pretty consistent rule that I've seen so far. It almost always plays out that way, where whatever the media says, or whatever the mainstream media, the corporate media says, and whatever the, let's say, center left politicians say, whatever they accuse the other side of doing, It's almost always they themselves who are guilty of it. So Clinton, the Clinton stuff is outrageous. And nobody gives a shit because, the corporate media are paid off not to say a damn thing about it. And so you're never going to hear that side of the story from them. You're never going to hear that side. I have so many friends who, I asked them after the election, did you hear about Hunter Biden's laptop? No, what's that? It's like, well, I don't know, kind of had a lot of information on there that showed that Biden is a corrupt piece of shit. But, that don't need to talk about that. Let's talk more about the piss tapes or whatever the fuck they had that didn't exist on Trump. It's legit. Wasn't it, IDK? Yeah. Movies of D&D games from racism. Dude, I bet. Richard, he's a funny one. It's a good point, Clayman. It's a good point. Which career politician? That's the thing. You have to say career politician, right? But you're right. On both sides as well. Equal opportunity there. On both sides. Career politician, not to be trusted. Since you speak French. Their own Trump running for the elections right now, but more intelligent. What's his name? I think I know who you're talking about. A friend of mine forwarded along asking me, like Zemmour. Yeah, Zemmour, that's it. Yeah. I've heard of this guy. I've heard of it. In the sense that he's talking about tighter regulations on, tighter restrictions on immigration to France. France is doomed already. Unless they go, the only way to save France at this point is to go hard back the other way, as hard back as you possibly can the other way, which would open the door for guys like Zemmour to come in, right? Look at how close Le Pen has been to getting elected each time. The people are tired of the immigration, the crime. And you go to Paris now, it's like it's a disaster. All of my friends and family have moved out of Paris. Nobody that I know wants to live there. They've all gotten the fuck out. So, and that's supposed to be one of the most beautiful, it's the city of love. It's supposed to be one of the most iconic, beautiful places to live in the world, and they all get the fuck out. They are all leaving. So, there are some serious issues. Paris has been shit for years, but it's not getting any better. I do know Neo Verto's guy. I do some of his I do some of the lunges every now and again, random dude, and I should start doing them again because I tweaked my right knee not too long ago, so I need to get back into doing some lunges again because I like that exercise and I felt like that helped a lot. I don't really use sled though, mainly because I don't have one. 300 mil. Yeah, exactly. Nightwing. Yeah. Sweden Social Democraterna has accused the right conservative parties of xenophobic propositions for years. Now they've started to implement these policies themselves. Everything to stay in power, right? Listen, I was reading, funnily enough, a speech by Bill Clinton. So we can go back, a couple of decades, right? And then all of a sudden, it's like what the Democrats took for granted, i.e. we need to, Bill Clinton, I read a speech from Bill where, Democrat, right? Where he essentially just goes on and on about how they need to restrict the border, control the border on the south, build a wall, all the things that Trump said. So 20 years ago, it's like that was the Democratic Party line, which was we need to restrict immigration. Which usually, if you are on unions, etc., that's the way to go, isn't it? You want to restrict immigration because unrestricted immigration will screw your union and screw your workers, which is exactly what's happening in California, etc. So but it's I always find that really fun, right? Because you can literally just go back a few years and whatever they're accusing, it's like they themselves were doing or are doing or. It's a fun situation, but yeah, Zemmour. This is the thing. The because of how the political system works now, where if you talk about immigration, you're painted as a racist, xenophobe. Immigration needs to be addressed. There's a lot of crime, and if the politicians don't want to talk about it because they fear getting called racist or xenophobic, the people are going to that doesn't change the fact that the people are still concerned about this, you know? And so when a politician comes along who wants to talk about it and who will talk about it and who will take the heat, well, they're obviously going to listen to that guy because they're like, well, shit, he's the only one talking about it, and this is a situation that affects me. Maybe they've seen their neighborhoods change, maybe they've seen their living situation change, and they're just like, why is nobody talking about it? And all of a sudden somebody comes along who's talking about it. Of course they're going to pay attention to them. And so like Zemmour coming in, I'm not even surprised. I mean, I saw the books that he wrote. He's been talking about it for years. And to be fair, I mean, it's been an issue in France for years. So, yeah, I mean, fuck Macron, basically, at the end of the day. And it may be time for some change in France if they're going to save France, because I don't think that France is doing too hot right now. I have no interest at all in traveling to France. All of these Rona restrictions that they went off the edge with is just forget it. You need a COVID passport to do anything in that country. Fuck that place. I have no intention of going to France, even though I have lots of family in France. I'm just not. They're going to have to come and see me. I'm not going there. Their president was called dictator. Yeah, exactly. For sure. It's the COVID passport, whatever. You know, it's like, yeah, you need the COVID pass to do anything there. Indeed, Thomas, indeed. Although, to be fair, I haven't really been following much of the social media. I mean, I only get social media when I sit down here in the morning with you guys. Apart from that, I pretty much cut myself off. Which, I don't know, pros and cons. It's a fair point, Nightwing. He wants to conquer the old SSR. Well, the thing is, Putin, like, Russia's fucked. What is the Russian birth rate right now? Macro trends. Growth rate minus 7.2. They are fucked. They're super duper fucked. So yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? What was it? 1.6. Russian was estimated to be 1.6. Yeah, they're not at replacement. And I bet you the only it's the same trend all across Europe. The only countries that really have a high fertility rate are Muslim countries. And I think for Russia it's the same thing, where wasn't it in a couple generations there would be more Muslims in Russia than actual Russian than actual Russians in that sense, right? And like the was it ethnic Russians or Slavs or whatever. So like they're in a real tight spot over there. So what is it that you have to? I guess Putin is just thinking, well, we have to go where the same ethnic people are. We have to go to Ukraine. We have to go east to the Slavic regions, because those are historically where we're from, right? Isn't that going to have to be the play for him? Because otherwise, it's just going to. I mean, yeah, that's really interesting. That's probably the reason why they're doing what they're doing. Yeah, exactly, Nightwing. He has to make plays, I guess. Return to Nip's active roster? I don't think so, Bala. You seem to be well. Welcome to the club. I think he's just he's looking for a way out. I think Device is looking for a way out. Either he goes back to Astralis, and that's literally what they're talking about now, trying to figure out a way for him to go back to Astralis. I mean, I have trouble seeing him come back to NIP. But I mean, if the Astralis plan falls through for Device, then I don't really know where does he go past that? Who has the money to make that kind of play happen? Because there aren't a lot of people who have that kind of money running around right now, unless he goes and starts off the new Cloud9 project or something like that. Michael asks Monday if you want to hang out sometime. I should send him a message. I just raid and close everything, so I never actually hang around to chat. So I should send him a message and see how he's doing. Michael. What I'm wondering is if Michael is a Catholic or not, because I noticed he has a rosary tattooed around his forearm. So I'm very curious about that. It would be interesting to have a chat. They still have, since there's still more issues than only Lucky, that might be it. But I mean, at least then there's I mean, it's brand for Astralis as well. He'll leave Nip from how the boys are acting in their blast vlog. Ooh, who knows? Michael is heavily focused on raiding bases in Rust. Good for him. I mean, doesn't Michael just play with Maniac anyways? Like, don't they have a try-hard stack for FPL? Or not even FPL, like Face It Premium or something? Yes, Dutchy Patty. But wasn't the part of the rumor that Device would help foot the bill? Loliaga, put it in the Discord, please. Loliaga. Put it in the Discord. Yeah, I think part of the rumor that was going around Dutchy Patty is that Device would willingly pay part of his buyout to try and sweeten the deal, try to make it possible. Because I mean, obviously, Nip paid hundreds of thousands for him, so there aren't that many teams running around who have got a few $100,000 to drop on the table at the drop of a hat, right? Opinion on 2014 Michaelele, a total savage beast. Big reason why Nip were able to do anything then. I still don't know. I think it was just him not clicking with the rest of the team. That was the issue. I still can't. I mean, it must have been mentality. 100% must have been mentality. He just wasn't blending with them, because it's such a shame to see that he wasn't able to do more past that point. But yeah, I mean, he was nutty. He was nutty. That's true. This is either looking for a way out or just playing the waiting game. Nip knows it, and Device knows that Nip knows that. Yeah, Bala, I think you're onto something. You know, he's kind of scummy to tell the fans he's coming back on Twitter saying he's struggling mentally. But yeah, I mean, Device has changed. He is capable of scummy stuff like that. The shit that he said during Flashpoint to the admins is just outrageous. How he behaved during the 40% packet loss situation. So I believe anything now. Or let's say that I don't believe anything. Like, it's all over the place. He's actually staying in Nip, if you know. Yeah. Pansy mispronouncing his nick every time was the shit. Well, my guys, it is currently 9:30 in the morning, and I think I'm gonna be bouncing. I'm gonna go to the gym. Let's find somebody to host. Is the Michael streaming? Yes, the Michael is streaming. Michael, la 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 la. All right, my dudes. Well, have a terrific day wherever you are. As always, a pleasure hanging out with you all. I'm gonna just be, we'll be here weekday mornings, just chilling out, shooting the shit, having some coffee, talking CS, talking life. I mean, having a good time, really. If you miss, these days I'm loading the videos up to YouTube because fuck it, why not? So if you happen to show up late and you miss the beginning of the show, I'm putting all the VODs up on YouTube. So just subscribe to the YouTube, check out the YouTube, and you guys will if you miss a show or part of it or whatever, you get to have it there. So yeah, guys, I hope you have a terrific day wherever you happen to be, and I will see you all next time. Peace.